You're listening to Nothing Small About Business, where big thinking meets real world action. Ready to level up? Let's get into it.
Today's guest is the founder of The Whole Health Mastery, and we're going to talk all about health as the foundation of your business so that you can grow without the burnout. She's the nutrition psychology coach, and I'm excited to welcome Nikki Antonaccio to the podcast.
Woo! Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes, I'm really happy to have you because I think you're my guest that lives the farthest away.
I will take that. I'm right across the pond, aren't I, over in the UK? Completely different accent going on here.
I love it. Welcome to, the Chicago podcast over here.
Love it.
Okay, so before we jump into all health for business owners, I would love for you to give us an overview of, where you came from, where you are today, and kind of let us know what you're doing.
So my background might surprise you a little bit because I'm actually a trained contemporary dancer and circus performer. That's my background.
Wow.
So I started many, many years ago in the professional contemporary and ballet world, and also learnt circus skills like fire breathing, stilt walking, aerial silks. That was my job, and I literally ran away with the circus. So that it might surprise people that that's where I started.
That is very surprising. I've never met anyone that's been in the circus. How
There
cool
you
is that?
go. During that time, I really struggled with injuries and not having the ability to rehabilitate them properly, and eating disorders. So I struggled for years with disordered eating, body image issues, lots of overperformance. As you can imagine, my whole life was tied to my work, was my body and what I looked like. So my whole world was all geared around what it looked like, how my body was, how much worth is tied up to my body. Literally giving my time for money, because that's the only way I could create success and income. After about 5 years, I got quite a nasty hamstring injury that stopped me performing. I couldn't drive, I couldn't teach, I couldn't perform. So I retrained. And that's when I retrained as a personal trainer and a nutritionist. That journey took me down a completely other route. I've been an international amateur bodybuilder all over the world. I've competed for TV. I have performed at the Olympic Games. The level of elite performance and athleticism in my life has followed me all the way through everything I've done. But
What a cool resume you have.
Yeah,
My God.
Every stage of what I've done has taught me something else about myself that I realized I needed to give back to others and other business owners. So when I was performing, when I was competing, again, I was like, something's not sitting right. And I was working in a gym. I was being a full-time sales manager, high-end corporate boutique personal training gyms. And I hit burnout. The pressure was disgusting. On top of also trying to work on my own relationship with food and body image, I was like, this just isn't working. I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. I don't like how I feel. I don't like what I look like. The pressure's ridiculous. I'm waking up in panic attacks. I was getting eczema breakouts. My hair was snapping. It snapped 4 inches in 1 year without me cutting it from stress.
Stress alone. Look what stress can do to your body. It's insane.
Insane. I was getting allergies. It was just ridiculous. And I didn't really understand what it all was. So I went away and I deep dived. And I was like, how is this possible? Where does this originate from? And that's when I found all my work and learning around the nervous system and somatic therapy. So I went away and retrained again as a somatic therapist and an NLP coach and mindset coach. And that's where my coaching has come about. I basically
Is that where you found alignment then?
Yeah.
Where everything felt like it was coming together?
This is where I was like, right, okay. So the nutrition piece was important, but it didn't fix everything. The training and the strength and the exercise piece, important, didn't resolve and understand everything. Bring the nervous system into perspective and all of that in terms of the body. All 3 bits come together. And that's how I managed to overcome eating disorders myself. I lost and sustained a really good amount of body weight because I was very uncomfortable after binge eating. And then success in terms of business and life, panic attacks stopping, insomnia stopping, my hair started regrowing. And that's what brings me to where I am now.
Wow. I heard this really powerful quote that is, the universe whispers until it screams.
Oh, girl, I had it screaming in my ear and I was ignoring it.
I can't hear you. I can't.
Literally, about 4 times.
Right. Wow. And then you have to learn all those lessons. And then what's
Right.
really cool is once you get to a place where you are now, you're like, I understand why everything had to unfold the way it did to get to be the person I am today.
Absolutely. Like, I can look back at it all with gratitude because every lesson has taught me something else that's given me the skills to be able to support and help other people.
That's beautiful. And you can live it from like a lived experience.
Yeah.
So when you're speaking on it, it's so true to who you are because you've been there and you've done that and you
Yeah.
understand probably what your clients are going through.
Yeah, I literally was like, right, I need to educate myself on everything because I didn't understand what was going on for me. And then now I can bring that science background, that educated background and lived experience together. So rather than just doing that from a textbook, I can say to somebody, look, are you waking up every night like feeling panicky and you can't think straight in the morning? How are you in my head? How do you know that that's what's going on? Oh, because I did that. Like,
Right.
doing it.
Been there, done that.
Are
Yes.
you rummaging in the cupboards at 9 p.m. after work because you've not stopped all day and your brain's been 100 miles an hour and you can't really control your urges? How are you watching me? No, I've done it.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm really, this conversation is, I feel like it's going to really hit home
Yeah.
for my listeners because it's a lot of small business owners, entrepreneurs, and there's so much burnout that happens. There's so much anxiety, stress, nervous system,
Yeah.
all the things. So I'm just so excited for this conversation. Okay. One area that I've been thinking of the last couple of years, and I've heard you say it before, is along the lines of like time doesn't matter. Hold on, let me try that again. Time doesn't matter if you don't have the energy for it.
Oh yeah. So I have ADHD. I'm neurodivergent. I was diagnosed at university. I didn't know or care what it meant at the time. I was just told at university that it was like, do you want £1,000 and do you want a laptop? I was like, yeah, I'll do that test. Whatever that is, I'll have that. So I got
Yes.
diagnosed at uni. It said to me, look, you've got ADHD. I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Um, and as I worked through like building my own business and my own life and just trying to structure a high pressure, high performance life running a business, I realized all the productivity hacks, all the time hacks did not work. I was just like, I've paid mentors, I've paid thousands of pounds in education. I dropped £10,000 on a time management course. I was like, this is not working. I would get to the point that I would do a whole month's worth of work in an afternoon if I was excited, like build a new product, build a new funnel and be like a demon with coffee, like non-stop. And the rest of the week, I was useless to anyone. I couldn't turn up for my clients. My husband just got an ogre instead of somebody that could actually speak to him. And I was like, right, this is not about time. This is about managing my energy and understanding when do I work best and how do I work best. So am I a morning person? Am I somebody who actually I do my best work with clients and really deep analysis of numbers and data and strategy? Yeah, first thing in the morning. I'm better with people, communicating and creative work in an afternoon and an evening. And in the middle of the day, I need to be out of the house and I need to go to the gym and I need to move my body or go for a walk. I'm very European. I think it's in my blood. Like I'll do early and late and nothing in the afternoon.
Nothing in the, I love that schedule. You're like, give me my little break midday. Maybe I'll take a nap, go for a walk.
Like the napping is the one. Like, but I think it's taken me a long time to understand myself. Also, with that element of neurodivergency, at times I wouldn't understand. Am I tired? Am I not? Am I hungry? Am I not? Like it was really hard to connect in with. If someone said, "Well, when do you perform best, Nikki?" I'd have been like, "I don't know.
I don't know. All day long because I have to go all day long.
Right,
So,
I've got a business. I just there is no choice. What are you talking about? Like I've just got to do the do and I have to do the things and there is no choice to it. But actually, when I
Mhm.
slowed down and started doing work on my nervous system and understanding myself on a deeper level, like when I'm talking about deep health, like when do you function at your best? When do you feel inspired? When do you feel drained? What activities feel like pulling teeth? And when you learn what those are, you can start to create your life around it, even though you still have to do a lot of the stuff. Does that make
Right.
sense?
It's such a huge awareness piece.
Mm.
And you think you're living through your everyday life in one way,
Yeah.
but there's such a complete lack of awareness unless you're doing that deeper work to really understand yourself, understand your patterns, whether that be you mentally, emotionally, energetically. Like there's so much. So can you, I mean, it's hard also to gain that awareness. I know like through myself, through therapy was really, really fascinating, and through reading, meditating, like things like that. Can you talk to me about how you found what your patterns were and how you figured out like when your best energetic times were?
And lots of therapy as well. So I've done all different forms of modalities of therapy myself. I've gone through NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. I've done CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. And then I found somatic therapy, and I absolutely loved and fell in love with it. So somatic therapy is body-based therapy. So CBT, NLP, love them, have retrained in them myself as well because they are relevant, but they're what you'd call talking therapy. So it's when you sit, you speak about your experiences, you try and offer reframes and try and think about cognitive changes. Somatic therapy is about getting in touch with your body first. What does it feel like? Can you connect back in with the sensations, not just what your head's saying? So as an overachiever, and if you're a high performer, you run your own business, your brain is going 100 miles an hour in a very strategic sense all the time. You're thinking about what's next, which clients you need to follow up with, who you need to email, who you sending your podcast link to, what are you doing on content.
All the things I'm not doing that I know I need to do. Yes.
We can get stuck in our head very quickly. And what that can mean is that you feel completely disconnected from what you actually feel like. So when somebody then sits down and says to you, Nikki, Sarah, how do you feel about content creation? Somebody will go, I don't know, I just have to do it. Disconnected. There is no feeling, there is no sensation. You don't recognize whether it lights you up or drains you because you can't tell. So as you start to get more in connection with what sensations are going on in my body, have I got a fluttery chest when I'm trying to do a sales call because I'm anxious or it makes me feel nervous? When I sit down and do content writing, do I feel heavy and tired and drained? You start connecting back in with yourself, you can answer those questions. But if you're completely shut off and just in go, go, go mode, you don't know yourself.
No, I can so relate to that. I used to just be in go, 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 totally numb. Had no idea. If you asked me questions like that, I would have no idea.
It used to put I felt a lot of pressure because I would have business mentors and strategists ask me, they'd be like, well, Nikki, you need to figure out what you're delegating, what work you want to outsource, because you need to know what lights you up and what things don't. And I'd be like, I have no idea. I can't even tell you if I'm hungry or tired, let alone tell you which activities excite me and what doesn't. So it took a while.
I was going to say, how long was that process for you to then map out like what your days look like or what, activities you want to be doing?
To be honest, I think it's an ongoing thing, right? So something I've learned now as well is I don't just have to make one decision and stick with it forever just because I've decided. Decisions used to feel like really big. So if I had to decide something, it would take so much energy to make a decision on it that it would feel really hard to change it. So my nervous system was kind of in this protective mode where decisions and executive function and problem solving felt really hard work. The whole process, I went through a high performance healing mastermind for 18 months. And I worked really closely with somebody who I also did my somatic therapy and training with myself. And during those 18 months, it was about reconnecting with myself, processing old trauma, understanding my old coping mechanisms like binge eating, like body dysmorphia, overworking, anxiety. And then, only then, after about 18 months, I could probably sit down and go, I don't like writing captions.
I actually don't enjoy any of this, right?
I like sending emails. Maybe someone else can do that. 18 months to figure out I don't like writing emails.
You're like, no wonder that was so hard for me to do. I hated it.
And equally the other side of it, knowing what lights you up. So you know what you want to do more of. Like, I adore connection, education, writing masterclasses, public speaking, speaking on stages, coaching one-to-many and having a big group of people. I don't like being in the weeds of a WhatsApp chat. I hate it.
Yeah.
No, I know that.
We are very similar. Like, if you told me I had to record 10 podcasts today, I would wake up so excited, not nervous, just like excited energy. But if you told me I had to go through the 300 emails I have, I would be like, I'm actually not going to do any of that.
Yeah, very similar. But again, half of high performance and high performance health is being able to do this and get to the point that you understand it, and not just somebody else telling you should know this. No one
Mhm.
teaches you how to know this stuff.
And we're also different. And so, like I've heard people say with like ADHD, I've become very familiar with, ADHD. And so they're like, yeah, but like, isn't everyone a little bit? But it's more of like, it's not about the diagnosis. It's about understanding and having awareness around the way that your brain works. And
Absolutely.
so whatever you do with that information, great. So like, yes, do all those different tests, do the personality test, learn things, do the therapy. The more awareness you have and the more time that you spend understanding the way that you work best,
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't people want to do that?
This might sound quite challenging to some people listening. I don't care if I've got ADHD or not. I just want to show up and perform at my best, whatever that looks like. It doesn't matter what the diagnosis is to me. It doesn't matter if I didn't have a diagnosis. It would make no difference. My pursuit of excellence and high performance is to be able to understand me the best way possible so that I can show up as the best business owner, as the best colleague, as the best mentor, as the best coach. And in that way, I know how my brain and my body work together simultaneously.
I love that piece of like feeling. Where do you feel it in your body? Are
Yeah.
you feeling it in your gut? Are you feeling it in your chest? Are you feeling it? For me, a lot of times it was in my throat, which
Yeah.
is so funny that I have a podcast now because it's almost like symbolic,
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
now I can speak and have an opinion and things like that. It's just, it's so funny. Okay. So talk to me through like when you're coaching clients, like what does that process look like for somebody that's like, okay, yeah, I've been feeling numb. I have no idea what's going on. I just know that I'm reaching burnout. What does
So
that process look like?
what we'll start with, the whole process, everything's personalized. This is the thing that I think is really important. And I've had business mentors say to me, no, you need to standardize everything. It needs to just follow one process. And I have fought tooth and nail every single person that I've worked with and been like, that doesn't work because it's a cookie cutter. So yes, you can have modalities that you work within and formulas that you can work with somebody or frameworks. But when someone comes to me, first and foremost, a 60-minute deep dive into your whole health audit. So we have to understand you from every angle: how you eat, how you think, how you act, how you move, what your internal monologue's like, what your sleep looks like, what supplements you take, what your relationships are like, what your finances are like, everything. So we have to
Wow.
look at a whole person,
This is
and
like
then
a life audit.
literally whole health audit. So every area of health, your internal monologue, everything has to be understood about that person, because only then have you got the context to know which levers are going to have the biggest impact for that individual in front of you. So if I've got somebody in front of me that's struggling with overwhelm, it's not going to be dealing with the same thing as somebody struggling with sleep and hormones. There might be crossovers and elements that we work on, like looking at what's your sleep routine like? How do you use of caffeine in a day? What are your coping mechanisms like when you're tired? But it won't be the same start point for everybody. Does
That
that make
makes sense.
sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Because like you said, if someone's not sleeping, that alone can totally throw off your day.
Yeah. I mean, sleep is everything. I could do a whole podcast just on sleep it on its own. Sleep, stress, and recovery is the biggest thing I see with most of the business owners and CEOs that I work with.
That was just going to be my question is what is the biggest thing with business owners?
Sleep, stress, and recovery, or lack of sleep, stress, and recovery, and a lack of value in rest and not feeling guilty for resting. So I
Mhm.
will see a series of symptoms that somebody will come to me with. They might say to me, like, I can't concentrate. I've got brain fog all day. I don't know if it's menopause, hormones, or something else. I don't know what's going on. I can't concentrate. You might have somebody come to me and say, I'm struggling to lose weight. And actually, when you get down to the bottom of it, it's somebody's got emotional coping mechanisms with food when stress is high because they're not sleeping
Mhm.
properly. Or somebody might come to me and say, look, my joints are achy. I feel inflamed. I don't understand what's going on here. Is it stress? Yeah, it might be stress, but it's also going to be sleep, recovery, and hormones, because that's the biggest piece that has an impact on everything else as a ripple effect.
You this sparks something in me. It's when you say recovery,
Oh.
because I do feel like the first things you think of are like sleep and exercise and eat healthy, but not as often. People don't talk about that recovery piece as often.
Okay, so what about things like meditation? So I'm not talking about feeling like you've got to do nothing. and you just got to rest and feel like you're being unproductive. Although I would say if someone's uncomfortable with being unproductive, there's some work to do.
That was me. I could not sit down during the day.
Yeah.
Or it was a problem. I had to consciously work on doing it.
And it's not easy, is it?
No, it is not. But now I'm like the other way where I'm like, this is great. How was I not doing this all the time?
Yeah. So thinking of things like I always think of as an athlete, as an ex-athlete, I also look at like active recovery. What about massage? What about meditation? What about cold therapy? What about cryotherapy? What about compression therapy? Like, what about using certain tools to help optimize your recovery, and also doing the inner work, the deep stuff, to be comfortable with not having to be productive? Like, can you leave shit and not get stressed about it? Or do you sit and it's like chatting in your ear and it's uncomfortable to do so?
And then you can't fall asleep because it's ruminating in your head and you're like, okay, well, maybe if I just get up and send this email really quick, or maybe I write this on my to-do list. And, like for small business owners and entrepreneurs, like we thrive on like that hustle and like accomplishing things and coming up with, like, for myself, I love coming up with like new ideas and try this and try this. So it really takes like, okay, step back. What's important? What's really going to move the business in the direction that it needs to go? And what's just like stupid busy work that you don't actually need to do?
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? You can't force yourself to go and rest. If resting or recovering or doing nothing feels more painful and more uncomfortable than you carrying on. And that piece is all about training your nervous system to feel safe enough to rest, that your life and business is not going to fall down around you if you do.
And this kind of plays into that whole like work smarter, not harder. And that's like so cliche, but it's so true. And like you really have to like do that life audit and sit down and realize, okay, what am I really so busy with during the day? Now, one of the things that like triggers me is when people are like, oh my God, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And I'm like, that's not healthy. Like,
no.
And what are you really busy with?
My toxic trait, if you like, that I knew when I know I've tipped out of what I would call regulation and feeling grounded, is if I hear myself saying, I haven't got time. I haven't got time for that. I don't have time for that. I'm too busy. I haven't got time for that. Stop, slow down, Nikki. Is that true? Or are you rushing from thing to thing, staying busy because it feels more uncomfortable to do less? Because our work, it's hard, tied up in like productivity and are we doing enough and are we doing more? Well, what if you're doing less and you're more successful and you're more calm and you're more regulated and you can take care of yourself and you show up better? That's health being a foundation of how you show up instead of running yourself ragged.
Right. Okay. I want to do a deep dive into that because for business owners, they think the harder I work and the more I work, the more money I'll make.
Yeah. No.
And, my husband and I have had these conversations all the time because his mindset used to be, if you are not fully stressed out, then you're not working hard enough and you're not successful. Yeah. And we've now since made a huge shift. He sees patients way less than he used to. He was 6 days a week. Now he's like 4 days a week.
Yep.
The business has never been better and everyone is healthier and happier. And can we like do a deep dive? Like, why is that? What happens in that shift? Is it a mindset shift? Like, what is it?
It's a nervous system shift. For fear of sounding like a broken record, initially, there's likely something tied to someone's worth and productivity. And that's likely way, way, way back in childhood. Perhaps it's something that you observed your own parents doing. I was working with a client this morning, for instance, who literally was taught by her dad that you work until you drop, otherwise you're not working hard enough.
It's just so unhealthy.
Right? So, but to hear that from that generation as well, you've got to think they've come from a generation, without getting too like political about it, post World War II, their parents were in World War II. They saw them go through that. They saw them go through things like rationing. Then the next generation of people were the ones that were the boomers. Like, let's earn money, let's get a house, let's do what our parents couldn't do. And they were taught that it was time for money, productivity and worth. Like you think about the whole factory, like industrial revolution side of stuff, like when you've got everybody doing like mass production, people working constantly, clocking in, clocking out, there was an expectation of time for money. We don't live in that world. We live in a digital world now where you can be earning money while you sleep, or you can be charging your worth for a much higher paid role or position, and you don't need to be in that constant hustle. We've also learned, or learning logically, that when we're extremely stressed, when allostatic load is really high, when we're emotionally frazzled, not connected, we know, we have so many studies now to say that your productivity goes down the bin. Like, we know this stuff. So the shift comes when someone often gets to burnout and realizes that it cannot keep doing it at the rate that's unsustainable that they are. And at that point, they have to figure out another way because their body goes, no, we're done. We're done.
Like, we're absolutely right. Then you're going to start coming up with diseases. Autoimmune diseases are going to
Yeah.
come out.
Right. So this is where you start finding you get chronic stress, autoimmune condition. 80% of autoimmune conditions are in women.
Wow, 80%?
80%. That is in this generation. And there's links and studies to show it's directly linked to trauma, lack of the ability to assert and understand and process your own emotions, because women now are trying to do both roles. They're trying to run.
That's the problem. Yes.
Like run a business, they're trying to do all the things, take over the world and have all the impact and still do all the traditional roles as well together without professional support. So 80% of
Yes.
autoimmune conditions come from chronic stress and lack of emotional processing.
That's fascinating. I've had a couple friends of mine are talking about like, oh, I'm thinking about like starting a business or going back to work. And I'm like, be careful what you wish for, because there's everything that you're responsible for now, you're now just tacking on those other responsibilities on yourself.
Absolutely.
So really sit down and figure out where you're going to put this in your life. Something has to give.
Yes.
So what part are you going to be able to take away or pull back from? Or is there, if a kid's going to college, that might be different because now you're not using that time to, but it is so true.
What I often see is the thing that gives is someone's health.
Mm-hmm.
They go to bed later. They don't eat properly. They stop taking care of themselves. They stop exercising. They don't have time or space for self-care. So the thing that gives, ironically, is the one thing that's going to keep them going and help them perform better.
That's so sad that it's wow, 80%. I didn't realize that statistic.
80% is massive.
So when you're working with people, do you find that they're coming to you when they're at the burnout stage already?
Yeah. So often,
or are they coming to you with like just knowing something's off?
Often there's 2 points. Somebody will come when they're like, I am done. Burnout, done. So a beautiful lady I've been working with the last couple of years, she suffered a psychosis. And afterwards, she had come back home from hospital. About 8 months later, she was like, I need to rebuild myself a different way. That what I was doing does not work. So they get to the point that they've hit burnout multiple times and they're like I was, like here's the whisper, screaming, this doesn't work, Nikki, help me. Or the alternative is when somebody comes and they're a bit listless, just feeling a bit meh with everything in their life. So your typical, I've got everything on paper. My business looks incredible. I've got an amazing family. I've got the house. We've got the cars. We go on the holidays. I don't really like my body, but I don't dislike it. But I just feel a bit meh.
Like sluggish.
Yeah. Is it my hormones? Am I depressed? No, you're just not looking after yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's such a key component to not having burnout, not feeling exhausted all the time. And I think, one thing we touched on earlier is really understanding like what time of day you want to do things. So like for me, working out has to happen first thing in the morning or it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Where, a good friend of mine, she works out at like 9 o'clock at night. I'm like, how? I'm in like
I'm in bed
prep.
Like, I'm going to bed at 9 p.m. Like just saying, but I'm an early bird.
Right, same. And I'm like, how are you? Do you have the energy then? Like I have zero energy. Well, I wouldn't be able to do that.
So my husband and I, we are two opposites. He'll come to life at 10 o'clock. He'll go to the gym at 8, 9 p.m. He's up till 1 or 2 in the morning. But if you try and get him out of bed at 5, he's like, huh?
No way.
Whereas me, he's 5 o'clock and I'm like, let's go. But you get me past 8 p.m. and I'm like, oh no. There are no
I can't form a sentence anymore.
There are no plans past 8 p.m. Like that doesn't exist.
Right. Like that's so interesting. Men and women, do you find different with their energy cycles or is it really just everyone's individual?
Everybody's quite individual, but you do tend to find actually most of the ladies I speak to that they tend to wake up slightly earlier. And that can be to do with hormone rhythms and it can be to do with cortisol. It can be to do with changes in estrogen and progesterone as we get into perimenopause as well. Tend to get up early and wake up earlier.
I'm loving this whole movement with women's health. I feel like it is really coming to the forefront now, and people are really understanding it and behind doing the studies and implementing different things for women. So, you know, I've been doing HRT for the last
Yeah.
2 years now, life-changing.
Yes.
I mean, I was in such brain fog.
Yep.
My blood work had such high inflammation.
Mhm.
A year later, everything looks completely different.
How amazing is that? Being an
It's
advocate for your own well-being
mm,
and health and knowing that you can do something to change it.
yes, and it really just takes that awareness piece, and whether that's like journaling or therapy, there's so many different modalities, whatever, you know,
Yeah.
fits your lifestyle, whatever feels natural to you, but
One of the first things I ever did, and it's so ridiculously simple, any of your listeners can do it, to start reconnecting and understanding myself, which was the start of everything, was I would sit down at the end of the day. It doesn't have to be the end, it can be the beginning. Like, don't just do what I've said because I've done it. You can do it any time of day. And I just sat down with a pen and paper and a 2-minute timer, and that's it. 2 minutes. That's all I did every single day. And some days I would write reams and reams and have to stop myself. Other days, absolutely nothing. And that's equally fine, because those nothing days tell you more about where you're sitting than the days where you have loads of reflections. You know, if you sit
mhm,
there and you're like, I've got nothing. Or if it's feeling uncomfortable to even sit still for 2 minutes, you know that you're probably been in overdrive all day.
mhm.
It's
And
that
do you
simple.
find that like our nervous systems can be in an elevated state for years?
So I lived in what you would call functioning freeze for most of my life. So essentially,
Yeah, what is that?
3 states of your nervous system. One is regulated, or what we call ventral vagal. That's basically where you and I are now. So that's all the blood flow is in the frontal lobes of the brain. It's sitting in a part of the nervous system that helps us with being curious, learning, problem solving, grounded, calm, regulated, right? You also have your fight and flight response, which a lot of people will understand that terminology, where you feel
Mhm,
activated, triggered, you want to run away or you're going to fight something. And then you also have something called your dorsal vagal freeze response, where everything's too much. It's where depression lives, where you're just numb and you're like, I'm done, like done. They're all protective states of your nervous system. None of them are bad. They're all there with a really solid intention to help keep you safe. You imagine if you're in the wild and you're being chased by something and you can't run anymore, you will just play dead to try and survive. There is nothing wrong with any of the states of the nervous system. But the top two, the yellow and the reds, the green, yellow, red. So if we're in sympathetic or fight and flight and shutdown, living there is like living your life with your foot on the accelerator of a car and the brake all the time. So you imagine what that does to your body. You imagine what that does to your organs, to your hormones, to your inflammation, to your metabolism, to your mindset. You are literally running yourself rugged. You've got your foot down hard on the accelerator and the brake at the same time. So it presents itself like, you might see somebody that's like doing all the things every day. They're ticking all the boxes, but under the surface, they're like, I'm not really here. I'm just doing it. I'm not really
mhm.
not enjoying it. I just have to. And dip in between that and feeling very emotional.
Got it. That makes so much sense. I love that analogy of like your foot is on both of them. That's so relatable.
It's your whole body is like on constantly, but equally trying to stop all the time.
Mhm, it's like fighting itself. And can
Yeah.
you imagine
Sometimes that
what's
feels
happening on
hard.
the inside of your body with
Yeah.
that?
That's when stuff feels hard. That's when it feels heavy. You're constantly secreting more cortisol, epinephrine, adrenaline constantly. It downregulates your thyroid, your metabolic rate downregulates. So that's when I see women later in their life come and say, look, nothing's working anymore. I don't,
Mhm.
I don't know when it's happening.
Yeah, like something has to change. I notice it with me, like if I'm stressed or I'm like too busy, I don't breathe.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh my God, I forgot to breathe."
Oh, I'm not breathing.
Right?
Breath
Or
work
like
is
very shallow breathing.
breath work is such a simple tool to get back connected with. If you do feel like you're living constantly in that like on the edge braced mode, breathing's the only autonomic nervous system part that we have also conscious control over. So it's conscious and
Okay.
subconscious. It's the only thing we can control that actually changes what our nervous system does. Your pupils dilating or your blood vessels opening, you have no control over, but you can control your breathing. So it's like the gateway between conscious and subconscious. So it's so simple. If you're feeling activated, triggered, stressed, all you need to do is make sure your out breath is longer than your in breath, and it will reset your nervous system in minutes. That's it.
Oh, I never realized that that is the only thing that we have conscious control over.
The only thing in our autonomic nervous system that we actually have conscious control over. You can't
And I say
control
that
your brain.
with my kids. I'll be like, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I have to remind myself to tell myself to do that too.
But again, if you breathe out longer than you breathe in, so one of my favorites is 5-2-8 breath. So I breathe in for 5, I hold for 2, and I breathe out for 8. And I do 3 or 4 rounds of that. Change of state immediately.
Wow. And then that's probably changing your blood pressure, what's happening in your brain.
Blood pressure, brain, how your body's secreting hormones, your digestion, because your digestion slows down when you're stressed.
Oh, interesting. Is that because your body needs to focus on other things, or why is that?
A lot of people that I work with will say to me, like, I'm constantly bloated. Like, I think I've got food sensitivities. I might be allergic to gluten. And actually, when we start working on it, it's stress. There's no sensitivity.
Mhm.
So when you're in fight or flight mode, when your body is pumping adrenaline and cortisol around your body because it thinks an email is the same as a bear chasing you, it doesn't look different.
How sad is that?
we need a software upgrade, don't we? When
We're not evolving as quickly as our world
we need
is.
to catch up, don't we? When your body thinks that an email or a client message is the threat, it sends all of your blood to your extremities so that you can mobilize energy to run or fight. So you'll get blood sent to your fingertips, to your legs, to your everything, so that you can run and move or fight whatever that threat is. So all the blood flow to your digestive system stops and slows down because it's not necessary for survival. So then when you're eating or have eaten or haven't, there's no blood flow going through your digestive system like usual. So it creates bloating.
Oh, that's so interesting. So are there better times to eat? So like, say you have a busy day that you're going to be stressed. Like, should you plan your meals around?
No, I'd say the opposite. Sort your stress out.
Oh, true.
Genuinely.
That's a great point.
No, with a shit, I would be like, okay, if it's going to be a stressful day, let's go back to the energy and time management thing. If I can make sure that I'm prioritizing non-negotiables that help keep me showing up the most healthy, fittest, confident version of myself, let's make sure I'm putting adequate space in the day to eat. Because if I'm not, I'm just running around in stress mode. Let's
And
make away from my desk and sit down with food instead of sat there answering while I'm eating something.
right. That is okay. How many times business owners are like answering emails while just like unconsciously eating their
on your
lunch?
phone while you're doing it? I do it. I catch myself doing it. I go downstairs to get away from my laptop. I work from home. I've got my beautiful office. I've got my kitchen downstairs. And I'll go downstairs to get away from my desk. And the next thing I know, I'm on the phone. And I'm like, put that away.
Right. Yes. I used to notice that when I had to sit down and do like busy work that I didn't want to do, I always had a snack like goldfish crackers or pretzels or something.
That's a whole nother pattern altogether.
Yes. And it was so unconscious. I didn't even realize I did that.
Yeah. Half of that will be linked to a soothing mechanism because you don't like the work you're doing.
Yeah. Is it like a dopamine or something?
You don't enjoy what you're doing. You're numbing the stress of the work through eating. So dopamine's a numbing hormone. So it numbs pain, it numbs stress. So if you're
That's
doing
fascinating.
you don't want to do, you're going to want to eat, or you're going to want to scroll on your phone, or you're going to want to drink alcohol, or you're going to want to shop, because the dopamine cycle stops you feeling the discomfort of the stuff you don't like doing.
Oh, you're speaking like directly to me. Oh my God, it's so true. That's why it's like, okay, well, I know I have to do this annoying thing, so I'm going to get my really good cup of coffee that I like.
Yeah. I'm going to get snacks because I hate this job.
But if I'm snacking on something I like, it'll feel better.
Because I can't feel the stress of this thing that I hate because I'm numbing it. It's fine.
Where it's better to just like live through the moment, create awareness around it, and fix the actual root of the problem than numbing it.
Root cause, always get right down to the root, like the pattern, the behavior, get away from the symptom management. Because I see this a lot. Ladies will say to me innocently, like, when's the best time to eat then? Or what's the best supplements to have to stop this? Let's get away from symptoms and get down to the actual root and solve that. And you won't need me to answer those questions.
I love that answer. It is so easy to treat the symptoms.
Because that's what we're trying to look for, isn't it? Like, we look for what's the problem, let me fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going, hang on a minute, let's get curious. What's going on underneath that? Why? This is the nutrition psychology part of my work. What's the psychology behind it? What's the behavior that's driving that and why? And let's get to that, because that's juicy. That's interesting.
That's the real work. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, we are running out of time. This has been very, very eye-opening. I'm definitely going to continue to work on breath work. All these things are so important. You don't realize how much they really bleed into your business.
And they're so simple.
Yeah. So is there one thing that you can leave the listeners with? If they're going to do one thing to implement today, what would you say that should be that they could focus on today?
For me, it will always be the 2 minutes to do some sensation tracking for yourself every day, because that's the thing that had the biggest ripple effect in my entire life, both physically, emotionally, and the impact on my business, because I could understand myself better. So if you give yourself 2 minutes of empty space with no distractions, if possible, and just you and a pen and paper, and see what comes up, do it more often than you don't. I'm not even going to say how often you need to do it, on purpose. Do it more often than you don't, and start to learn about yourself and reconnect with your own body.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I will definitely implement that. That seems 2 minutes. Everyone has 2 minutes. So,
It is.
all right. Where can people find you if they want to get more information or work with you?
I am on all social media, but I tend to hang out a lot on Instagram. That tends to be my platform. So if you find me, search my name _women's health. So Nikki Antonaccio _women's health. There's only one of me. If you manage to spell half my surname, you'll find me. So find me.
Amazing. Yep. And I'll put it in the show notes so people, can click on it. And, I love everything that you're saying. This is all super, super important foundational work. So I really appreciate you coming on today. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And hopefully one day we can meet over the pond in person.
And thank you for having me. It's been awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Nothing Small About Business. Make sure you follow the show so you don't miss the value in upcoming episodes. Share this with someone who's growing, and connect on socials for more.